Hey, welcome! You ever get the feeling there's a hidden force shaping, well, just about everything? From the things you click online, all the way out to the stars in the sky? Today, we're gonna pull back the curtain on exactly that. So let's just jump right in with this idea. It's an idea that connects things you'd never expect, like how a celebrity builds a brand, how a spy gets information, and even how we think about our own destiny. It all comes down to one thing. We are hardwired to look for patterns. So here's the game plan for today. We're going to follow this single thread, this idea of pattern seeking, and see how it weaves its way through some incredibly different, fascinating worlds. All right, let's start with the big picture. You know, this constant search for patterns, it's not just some random quirk. It's literally how we make sense of what can feel like a really chaotic world. And, you know, as soon as you start thinking about patterns, you run head first into one of the biggest questions we've ever asked. Are we in control, or are we just following a script? And this is where things get really interesting. You've got these two major camps. On one side, you have hard determinism, which basically says free will is a total illusion. We're just incredibly complex biological machines, like cosmic clockwork. But on the other side, you've got soft determinism, which says, yeah, okay, our choices are influenced, but we're still free as long as we can act on what we want. It's a huge debate. Okay, so with that huge philosophical idea hanging in the air, let's bring it right down to earth. Let's look at how someone can actually consciously engineer a pattern to create something massive. And there's no better example of this than the story of Lizzie Grant. She was a musician who, by all accounts, had the look, had a record deal, and she completely flopped. But then she re-emerged as the icon we know, Lana Del Rey, because she designed an entirely new, absolutely magnetic pattern. And this was no accident. It was a masterclass. She built this whole world. The fiery red hair, the sad girl aesthetic. She owned these images of old Hollywood and Americana. She even created this sense of mystique, you know, by disappearing and then coming back, which kept everyone guessing. This wasn't luck. It was a carefully built pattern refined over more than 14 years. Okay, so we've seen how this works for a global brand, but what about when it's just one person trying to influence another? Let's zoom in on the patterns people use in one-on-one relationships to get what they want. Now, get this. This is a real tactic from the world of spies. It's called a parallel conversation. Instead of walking up to your target, you start talking to the person right next to them. What happens? The target's brain just can't ignore it. Their curiosity kicks in, and by the time they join your conversation, you've already set the terms without ever looking like a threat. It's brilliant. And then you look at the world of dating advice, and wow, it's almost the exact same pattern. The whole idea is to not give your power away by looking for their approval. Instead, you create a little mystery, you make them wonder about you, and suddenly they're the ones trying to get your attention. So you see what's going on here, right? It doesn't matter if it's a CIA agent, a dating coach, or a sugar baby. The core pattern is identical. It's all about psychological leverage. By creating a shortage of approval, you make the other person feel like they have to earn it from you. And that, right there, is how you get what you want. But what if you're stuck inside a pattern that you're desperate to get out of? Now the game isn't about creating patterns. It's about learning how to smash them. This quote, it's just perfect, isn't it? It perfectly explains why arguing with a bully or a toxic person is a game you can't win. They love the mud. They thrive on that negative energy. So to win, you have to refuse to get dirty. You have to break the pattern of the game itself. So how do you do that? Well, escaping this kind of negative pattern isn't about fighting back harder. It's about changing the rules entirely. First, you stop trying to defend yourself. They don't care. Second, you use silence. It's a total power move. Third, you just withdraw. Indifference is your superpower. And finally, you don't attack them. You become a mirror. You let them see their own ugly behavior, and toxic people hate that. You simply refuse to wrestle the pig. And here's another powerful idea. This one from an 18-year-old entrepreneur who was bullied for being ambitious. She calls it tall puppy syndrome. You know, that social pattern where if one person stands out too much, the group tries to cut them down. She says that becoming truly successful means you have to break that pattern in your own mind. You have to learn to see that criticism not as a failure, but as proof that you're doing something right. All right, so let's pull the camera back out again. Let's look at how we adopt these bigger patterns, these blueprints, as frameworks for how to live, from our health all the way to our search for meaning. If you look at something like biohacking, it's all about structured patterns or protocols designed to optimize your body. For example, most experts agree on a core pattern of supplements, these four right here, because they each play a proven role in things like energy, bone health, and just overall cellular function. It's a deliberate pattern for a better life. And then on the total flip side, you have something like a tarot reading, which is, when you think about it, another kind of pattern seeking. It's this beautiful attempt to find a narrative, a sign of fate, like the Wheel of Fortune, inside the complete randomness of a shuffled deck of cards. It's about finding meaning in the chaos. And that brings us right back around, full circle, to where we started, staring down that same massive question. So what is it? Are we just living out these pre-written scripts, biological, social, maybe even cosmic? Or do we actually get a say in which patterns get to define who we are? And at the end of the day, I think this is the big takeaway. Realizing that we're all pattern-seeking machines isn't a limitation. It's actually the key. It's the foundation of our reality. And more importantly, it's the foundation of our power to change that reality. So I'll leave you with that. Patterns are literally everywhere. They are the building blocks of your brand, your relationships, your health, your beliefs, your entire life. The question is, which ones are you going to choose to build with? Realizing you have that choice, well, that's everything. Thanks for watching.